rev up your engines. Today I'm going to talk about the car that made Volkswagen famous and very popular. And I know people are going to say, Scotty, you hate Volkswagens. Well, yes, I hate modern plastic, over-computerized money pit Volkswagens, but not these old solid metal ones. This is a 67 when men were men and cars were made out of solid metal. And if you wanted air conditioning, hey, you opened up the front draft window and you crank the side down. And automatic transmissions, we don't want no stinking automatic transmissions. We got a 4-speed manual on the floor. And this one's had a short shifter put in. Look at this. That's it, just a tiny little bit to get in all the gears. And machines sounded like machines. Listen to this. And horns sounded like horns. And engines, hey, they were mechanical. They weren't filled with a bunch of electronic stuff. Fuel injection, no. This baby's got two barrel racing carburetors on it. One on one side that I'm working on presently, and one on the other side. It's a tinkerer's dream. You get to play with the carburetors, adjust them. You can modify them, change the jets, make it have a higher top end or more low end power. You can have fun with these old things. No radiator to worry about leaking fluid. This baby's an air-cooled boxer engine. And yeah, it's an old design. And sure, they're not race cars, but this baby has the 1600 engine. It put out 54 horsepower, and in its day, that was a reasonable amount of power. Back in the 60s when I was a kid, I had a 650 BSA Lightning, which was the fastest production bike at the time, and it put out 53 horsepower. But granted, it weighed a lot less than this entire car. Now with the engine and the transmission on the back, guess what? All that weight is right over the back drive wheels. So in the rain and the snow, gripped great. You got all that weight in the back. I mean, I remember when I was a kid and people were driving 60s Mustangs around up north, you had to put sandbags in the truck to get enough weight on those back wheels so they'd grip. This thing's got most of the weight on them already. In a boxer engine, it's low and flat. So the center of gravity is low and they handle quite well. And maintenance, cheap and easy. This baby only holds 2.7 quarts of oil. You just drain it on the bottom, put in the oil, doesn't cost much. We change them every 2,000–3,000 miles. Oil is cheap, engines are expensive. And look at this. It's high enough up in the air, you don't have to jack it up in the air to change the oil. You just leave it on the ground, and here we go. Out comes the old oil. And there's the end of it dripping out. Talk about easy, cheap maintenance. You can't beat that. Then you just take off the dick clip assembly, stick in a funnel, and put 2.7 quarts of oil back in. And away you go. And with the square back design, you got a reasonable amount of trunk space and people space inside. It was a far cry from the simple Beetle that if you sat in the back, there was no room at all. Building a solid, reliable car, hey, that's what Volkswagen did with these things. They've gone a long way from that now. They're into speed and luxury and all that nonsense and all the horrors that come as they age and cost a fortune to fix. This thing is 52 years old and it still works great. And with that rear engine transmission design, it still handles really well for a car that's 52 years old. They're still fun to drive. So now you know how Volkswagen made a name for itself. When men were men and cars were made of metal. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.